Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Longbox Guys. With me, as always, are some of my very best friends since I was a very little kid. LT, how you doing, and what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
I am doing just okay, and I am drinking some Foundry.
Glenfound, where's that from?
It's a Speyside single malt Scotch.
Speyside single malt Scotch. Mikey, how you doing, and what are you drinking?
I'm doing well, and I am drinking a Tennessee Cider Company strawberry hard cider tonight because Josh needs bottles.
Josh needs bottles. Josh is getting back into the brewing business, and he needs bottles, so we're trying to empty them for you. Josh, what are you drinking tonight?
I am still not feeling great, so I am drinking soda.
What kind of soda? Good soda? Bad soda?
Coke Zero.
That's bad soda. When I'm overseas, that's the only Diet Cola I can get sometimes, and I don't love it. There is a different one called Coke Champagne, though. That's okay. It's also zero. It's not terrible. I don't know why, but I kind of like that one. And I myself am drinking what's called a Strange Tale, which is 4 different scotches that my wife mixes together, and they always come out tasty. I don't know why a Strange Tale is so good, but when my wife makes it, it's always delicious. Because sometimes mixing up things and just mashing them up and making them all a crazy combination works. Speaking of which, today we're going to be talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Madness. This movie looked very different from most Marvel movies. So first thing we're going to say is spoiler alert. We're going to be taking a deep dive into the movie. We're going to be talking about all the characters that we see in it, and some of these characters are going to be new to the Marvel Universe of it itself. Some are really big spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, so shut this down, go see the movie, and come back if you haven't. If not, listen and enjoy our dulcet tones as we wax loquacious about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Josh, how'd you like it?
Well, first I'll say the latest Marvel bid, directed by Sam Raimi, written by Michael Waldron. Doctor Strange was released in May of this year. Has a pretty big cast of previous and new Marvel actors and characters, including Benedict Cumberbatch, Elizabeth Olsen, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benedict Wong. I'm gonna mess up her name. It is Xochitl Gomez. Michael Stahlberg and Rachel McAdams are sort of the big players. I watched it at home. I waited till it came onto onto Disney Plus. It was okay. That's I was neither thrilled. I don't know if disappointed would be a word I would use for most of the big Marvel films anymore, because some of them, the last few that they've been trying to ramp up the next generation, like the Eternals and stuff, I just haven't been impressed with. It doesn't seem like it's really they've put together what I want to see for the next generation, especially in character choice for the most part. We do get hopefully a little teaser. I'm sure we'll get to some of the scenes in this where there's a little more interplay with some of the rest of the Marvel Universe, and I hope they get deeper into that.
What was the name of the writer?
Michael Waldron?
Michael Waldron. I wonder, did he watch WandaVision or did he just read a Wikipedia page about it? I'm just curious. That's my only comment. We'll get into that more later.
Sure.
Tommy, what was your general feeling? We're going to get into the movie in a segment. I was just getting everyone's general feel.
So, I mean, I like the film, but it's not going to be one that I keep going to keep watching again and again, right? It's not Ragnarok. It's not the movie that you can just put on at any time and just fold laundry to and watch and enjoy. It's more of a film that you want to dedicate the 2 hours to. It's not something that you're just going to sit and put on at any point in the movie and just be able to enjoy 10 minutes of it because there's going to be some joke or some skit that's just going to be hilarious and fun and lighthearted, and it's going to be great. This is a horror film. It's not your typical Marvel film.
Yes, that's a good point, actually. And one of the things I've been saying about this film is at the end, there's the credit scene and it says film directed by Sam Raimi. And never in my life have I needed to see that less at the end of a film than that one. Sam Raimi's thumbprints are on every single square inch of this film. It is a Sam Raimi horror film. And I actually had to warn my wife about it a little bit because she doesn't like horror movies. But she wanted to see it and she enjoyed it. But
I would
it
go a
is
step
a Sam
further.
Raimi film.
I would go a step further and say that the Spider-Man film that Sam Raimi did, 20 plus years ago, was more of a Marvel film than this is, because this is more of a departure from that and truly a horror film compared to that.
Yeah, no one's going to argue with you on that.
I don't know. It does have all the trappings of a Marvel film, like the antagonist, main protagonist, has similar powers.
Yep.
Which we know Josh loves that.
Josh loves it when that happens.
It's my favorite thing.
But I mean, I did think it was a good film.
Yeah, there's a battle at the end where people are going like this in front of a blue green screen. So yeah, it's a Marvel movie.
I'm gonna be the disparate voice here. I love this movie. This is one of my favorite Marvel movies. It reminded me of a Steranko comic book so much. Did anyone else get that feeling a little bit? No, just me.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. I thought I was reading an old Steranko Doc Strange, and I loved it.
See, I haven't really read that many of the old Doctor Strange, so maybe that's where, But I did love the giant cephalopod creature. I thought that was great in the opening scene.
Let's talk about that opening scene. In the opening scene, we see Doctor Strange attending a wedding. The wedding is interrupted by an attack on the street by this giant cephalopod creature. And we see our first major new character, Cesar Chavez.
Chavez.
Did I say Caesar? Caesar
Yeah.
Chavez.
Yep. A little different.
A little different. Very different American hero.
I mean, it's a Freudian slip out for this Independence Day, but yeah.
Another American hero, for certain. America Chavez, and I love the character and I love everything they did with this character. I had a great time seeing her. I love how she opens up the multiverse, and I loved, jumping around and seeing it. How about you guys?
Yeah.
I didn't really think that character had any kind of arc. Like, she was just scared and running from the monster and then just trying to survive, right? I know she was looking for her moms.
Look,
right,
Mike,
trying to find them.
Mike, her arc was that at the end of the movie she was able to punch things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that was
at the end of the
movie, it ramped up quick. There was no montage. I wanted a montage.
Yeah. She was just a MacGuffin for the movie.
I mean, I like the actress.
Yeah.
In the comic books, the thing I don't enjoy about America Chavez is just like the shotgun splattering of powers. Like, there's no. It's like she's just like she is a randomly generated character. The person who made that character for their campaign had no idea what they wanted. They just rolled randomly for all the powers. There was no continuity. There's no structure to it. They're just like, super strength, sure. Yeah, some beams. Okay, yeah, what about this? Like, I don't know. Like, it's the most unthematic character in the Marvel universe.
I kind of like that about her.
I like that every time she did something, it was star shaped. So like in the opening scene, she like knocks some cement off of the ledge to help Doctor Strange, and it was a star shaped piece of cement that fell. And then later on when she first discovers that she's got a little bit of power behind her punch when she's trapped in this sort of super strong, not plexiglass, but, clear, translucent material cage, she punches and it's a star-shaped imprint in the
We're
fake
in the
glass.
we're in the multiverse now, so that was obviously clear
Clear
aluminum. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Computer.
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 Computer. We're in the multiverse now, so obviously that was clear aluminum. Thank you, Josh. And that's a little scene for a little later on. So after America Chavez meets Doctor Strange, the storyline continues that she's being chased. They don't know who's chasing her. Doctor Strange goes and tries to get the help of the Scarlet Witch, and that doesn't help that much because it turns out the Scarlet Witch is the main bad guy, and she gives herself away. That was a pretty good scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got that she didn't say the name right off the bat. Did anyone miss it? No one missed it. Anybody miss that? When she goes, "Why don't you have America stay with me instead of me going to her?"
Yeah.
And then he goes, "I never said her name." Did anyone miss that?
No.
My wife did. I leaned over and goes, "She didn't say the name," and my wife goes, "Oh." I love that about my wife. Mind you, she has a PhD and she's brilliant. She just doesn't get movie stuff, and I get to be smart for 20 seconds out of a day, and that's awesome. Also, when she needs to know who the dog on the Jetsons was to complete the last thing on the this is true on the Sunday New York Times puzzle. This is the guy she goes to, and I'm always right. Maybe she's just making me feel smart. Anyways, I thought that was a great scene, and I love the attack on what's the name of the city?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Comatage?
Thank you. Very good, Tommy. Comatage. That attack was really done well. There's a great feeling of foreboding when she came up and everything got dark and she was picking and choosing her targets on the ground who had a weak mind. Did you guys like that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of anything that happened to the Scarlet Witch in this movie, so it's a bad question to ask me.
All right. Moving on. So the next part, we see the Scarlet Witch.
I will say that, and I forgot, when he was at the wedding, and he's like, "I was gone for 5 years."
Mm-hmm.
The guy was like, "Yeah, asshole, a bunch of us were gone for 5 years. You're not the only one." I think that did a great job setting up Doctor Strange as being self-absorbed and egotistical, because that's his arc, right? He believes that he is the only one who can save everyone, and then he has to trust somebody else to do something that he can't do.
And that's also the issue why the other Doctor Stranges in other universes have failed.
Right. Because they can't accept that. And I also like the fact that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah. And fucking
Does anyone have a theory about why that's happening? I have two theories.
Because Doctor Strange faded out of existence.
Yep.
There you go. He was gone for 5 years.
All right.
Maybe because he gave away his time stone.
Yeah, I know, but I also think that it probably helps boost overseas sales to have Wong as the because he's a very famous actor overseas, and I think it probably boosts sales a little bit overseas to have him as the Sorcerer Supreme. Also, the whole it's customary to bow to the master. I think that's very reminiscent of something that's going to happen in the very near future when Doctor Strange does become the Sorcerer Supreme. I think that'll be the changing of the guard scene. I got to use reminiscent in a sentence. Come on, guys, help me out here. That wasn't bad. Shit, you guys are a high watermark. Fuck.
It's been a bad week.
All right. So the Attack of Comatage also shows some really cool horror Sam Raimi stuff. The Scarlet Witch doing the backbend, climbing on walls, coming through the mirrors, breaking her own bones to get through these small spaces in this very creepy manner, coming up through puddles of water as a reflection. All good horror movie stuff, right?
And don't forget the scenes that are done at an angle and keep switching perspective.
Classic Sam Raimi stuff.
Classic Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Yeah, though one thing I didn't like about that whole battle is after she's killed hundreds of these wizards, that they're like, you can't kill her. She's just a girl, and I'm like, oh yeah, she just killed like
Yeah,
several
she
Right.
hundred
just
guys. Like I
she
don't
just
Yeah.
plowed
Yeah,
through
think.
people like
Steve.
she just plowed through them like she was making sandwiches. Like,
Yeah.
I think
hey,
that
I'm just gonna make some ham salad right now.
I think that guy was the last Minotaur, like the last one. He just killed him. Like he was
Do
the
we have any more
last one
Minotaurs at all?
at all. He was like it. That was all we had.
That's it.
You
There
killed
is
Ed.
actually
He had a family of 8 that he
no.
started as a
There's one
single
more
man.
Minotaur. Her name is Sharon, and now
She's
Sharon.
just a girl.
Did the last guy? Did he in a cup or anything? Nope. Sharon's gonna be so mad. I named the Minotaur Sharon, and now I have a backstory for it. I'm sorry about that. For me, really. Then we go on to other worlds as Doctor Strange and Cesar Chavez are jumping around trying to escape the Scarlet Witch through the
America
multiverse.
Chavez, not
America
Cesar
Did it again,
Chavez.
didn't I? Damn it, didn't I?
You did. You did.
I guess I have to drink
Jesus.
every time you say Cesar Chavez.
Every time I say Cesar Chavez, drink.
Which brings us to the highlight of the film, really.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
Campbell.
That was a great scene, and that was straight out of Evil Dead, where his hand becomes possessed. Again.
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 It doesn't matter what multiverse.
Are you a taker?
Food is free in most universes. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That appeals to me.
Almost makes sense.
Yeah.
Does.
Yeah.
Does.
Probably
Almost
healthcare
makes-
too.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, healthcare is free in most of the planet, except right here. We gotta do better, guys. For another time.
Indeed.
So what do you guys think about that? The Paint universe, going through all those. That was very Steranko to me, and Sam Raimi, of course, too. Mikey, you're more of a Steranko fan than these guys. You've read some of those old Doctor Strange ones. It didn't remind you of that at all.
Yeah, it was fine. I liked the different effects and everything that they had. I thought that was very cool. Again, I'm not a fan of this movie, so like uh, different. There were very few things that I was like, oh, I like that. I did like them jumping through. I wish that they had spent a little more time in there. But can you guys help me out? This is totally off the jumping through the multiverse question, but did anything that happened in this movie depend upon what happened in Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie?
Not that I don't.
Because I didn't see the last Spider-Man movie yet, so I didn't know if like anything was important in that movie that plays out in this movie.
I did not see anything relevant from the Spider-Man movie in this.
Okay.
I gotta say, I watched it twice. I really enjoyed that last Spider-Man movie, by the way. The humor in it was like way different and way funnier than anything I've seen in a Spider-Man movie since. They kept picking on one Peter Parker as the loser, and it was really funny. The guy that had the bad, which Peter Parker? Do you remember which one they were picking on, Tommy? The one who had the bad movie.
Garfield one, maybe?
Yeah, Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just kept picking. It was like, man, I just didn't do very well in my universe, and they're like, it's okay, man. And it was really funny. It was very behind the scenes kind of funny, and I really enjoyed that. But I think that Spider-Man only led to, and of course Doctor Strange was in that talking about the multiverse, and you see glimpses of the multiverse, but I don't think it mattered that much, except that we now know that Doctor Strange is aware of how tenuous and little knowledge we have of the multiverse.
And he's also aware that, it's easy to crash two universes together.
Yeah.
And we know that from the Spider-Man movie that Doctor Strange, or one of the Doctor Stranges, makes those containers. The clear prison cells are from Doctor Strange's sanctum in the Spider-Man movie, and then show up again under control as somebody else in the multiverse. But other than that, I didn't see any or remember any really major crosses between the films. And maybe there are glimpses now that if I went back and looked at them again, I would recognize something. But really, it was just those prisons that could contain people was the only thing I really saw in both films.
I got us off topic. Let's go back to the pizza balls.
The pizza balls.
Pizza
Happy
balls.
Johnny pizza
Man,
ball.
I could really go for a pizza ball right now.
Yeah.
So
Those are probably going to be showing up in Walt Disney World.
Oh yeah,
I would have a pizza ball. I'll try.
I need a fucking pizza ball.
Oh, fuck. So moving on, we come to the next part where America Chavez is the big. Well, I guess the next big thing is Doctor Strange is trying to find the Doctor Strange of his universe. They find it only to find out that Doctor Strange wasn't able to give up enough control to have other people help him. He was kind of corrupted, and the other heroes put him down. And those other heroes include some big hitters. Joshua, tell us who those other big hitters are that we see for the first time.
I mean, I was really surprised they pulled Black Bolt in first. And we mentioned that. Did we talk about this at some other point on the podcast? His suit, the
No,
special
we
effects
did.
around his
We
suit.
We
talked
did.
about it after the podcast.
Oh, we
Yeah.
talked about it after the podcast. Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie, they pull in. It's Black Bolt. The Illuminati is Black Bolt, Bordeaux, Mr. Fantastic, Professor X,
Captain
Captain Britain,
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter. Who am I missing?
Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, I said Mr.
Photon?
Fantastic.
Photon or
Captain
Miss
Marvel.
Marvel
Miss Marvel,
as Monica
aka
Rambeau.
Photon. Yeah.
And by the way, there should be a Baron in there somewhere. He didn't go to evil
That's fair.
finishing
It's a
school.
Baron Mordo, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Baron. And
And Ultron.
Ultron.
Well,
technically.
Ultron were just they were just security.
Yeah,
Ultron was
because
the
Reed
founders.
Richards designed the Ultron in that universe, so that's why they fucking work.
Hey, we should put in the 3 laws of robotics. Hey, everybody, should we put in the 3 laws of... You know what? We're just going
Yeah.
to put in the 3 laws of
Yeah,
robotics. just in
you know,
case.
they're from science fiction, but they work out pretty well.
Yeah, it's like the Bible. It's like, they're not bad suggestions. Just don't go nuts.
I mean, we don't want everything from it. I mean, we don't want the slavery, but the not killing, that was a pretty good suggestion.
That was a pretty good suggestion.
We're going to leave coveting. Coveting is all you can covet.
Yeah, so the two things really for me was when I saw Black Bolt, one, I was surprised they brought the Eternals in because they left the Eternals out of Miss Marvel. So I thought they were
Inhumans.
just the Inhumans, sorry.
You thought they were just going to...
I thought they were going to wash their hands of the whole thing and just walk away from it, but they kept him in. And I noticed graphically there was something off about the character, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And later I found out that his entire suit was CG. And I thought it was something around his eyes or his face that had been CG'd, but it turns out they were CGing around his whole body, which I don't know why that decision was made, but it definitely threw me off just a little bit watching the film.
I
And
think
the
he
other,
lost a bet with Ryan Reynolds.
maybe that. And honestly, I don't even know who the actor was. It wasn't the same guy who was in the TV show as Black Bolt, right? It was
Oh,
not
man,
that-
I forgot that TV show even existed. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right, there was
Yeah.
the one season of the TV show. So it wasn't that actor, and honestly, I don't know who it was. And before I lose track of this, I just want to say, is it dough, cheese, dough, sauce? Is that the pizza ball? How are we making the pizza ball?
It's just a little mini calzone that's the size of a donut hole.
No, the cheese was on the outside. The cheese and the pepperoni were on the outside.
Yeah.
I don't know how they did it.
That's untenable.
It's weird.
That doesn't seem
Yeah.
like.
I know
yeah,
it's weird,
it's a
but
mess.
that's how they did it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I would have to do dough, cheese, pepperoni, dough, sauce. I
Yeah.
think if you're gonna make
So-
it that big.
So to get back to the Illuminati, though, I
Right.
think one of the cooler things that I was really excited about is when they started talking about incursions. Because if anybody read Jonathan Hickman's run on the Avengers, which ended up leading to the Secret War, it was all about incursions, where two universes collide into one another, and either they both get destroyed or one gets destroyed. And the way the one survives is to destroy that other universe before it destroys them. So there's that is a phenomenal series, but it took years for Hickman to get through that, and ended up becoming a backdoor Fantastic Four story, even though it was set in the Avengers, because they were like, will you do the Avengers? And Hickman was like, sure, I'll do the Avengers. I got a great idea. Fuck you, I'm doing the Fantastic Four. Ah! But anyway, that the whole idea about incursions was great. I like that idea. However, it seems weird that, like, if you dream walk, you can cause incursions, but apparently America Chavez, because she's unique, she doesn't cause incursions when she travels between, or at least she may, we don't know, right? She could have been causing incursions all along the way.
Well, the thing that makes her unique is there's only one America Chavez. There's no other America Chavezes in other universes.
But we still don't know if that's what causes an incursion or not.
Well, that's
Dreamwalking,
what.
they said definitely does when you go into
Yeah.
another universe.
But I'm pretty sure she said that's one of the reasons she doesn't cause incursions is because she's the only one. She's unique in the universes.
Right. But then when now then we've set up, because Doctor Strange spent so much time in this other place and then was doing incursions from that universe to other universes to fight the Scarlet Witch. He's basically set up multiple universes to get destroyed through his own arrogance.
Yeah, I think that's part of the arc coming forward.
Yeah. So I look forward to that. In the comic books, Doctor Strange forms almost like a religious order of mystics to fight incursions. And so at one point it looks like he's just disappeared, and they're all like, where's Doctor Strange? And he ends up coming back later on. So I'm wondering if they're going to end up setting Doctor Strange up for that kind of arc.
Maybe.
But as far as the Illuminati goes, I was super excited to see Mr. Fantastic, one of my fucking favorite characters in all the Marvel universe.
He looked great too, right?
The smartest man in the universe, who then proceeds to ignore the fact that Scarlet Witch can warp reality and act as if she's not that big a deal, and then tells the Scarlet Witch how to how they can stop her. Like a Black Bolt can just destroy you with a whisper.
Word.
Yeah. And I was
a
like,
word from his mouth.
A word from, yeah. Where else would the fucking word come from? But that's beside the point.
Wait. Is this farts?
Yeah.
I think so. I think if
you,
they had just fed him beans beforehand, they would have been all set in battle.
They are the magical fruit.
Yeah. So it's not very smart, is what I have, is the basic thesis of what I was going for.
Unless Reed
Thank
Richards
you for your TED talk.
really didn't like Black Bolt, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna set him up to get killed
Fuck this
first.
guy."
Watch this."
And then
I've been
all
wanting to have
watched as
words with that guy.
They all the Illuminati took her on all one at a time.
Overbear's a bitch, but it's also hard to actually do. As someone who's tried to overbear,
Captain Marvel and Captain Carter literally stood there while she was turning Mr. Fantastic into string cheese. And then after she finished, they were like, oh, we better go stop him.
Ooh. Too far, Scarlet Witch.
In their defense, it's not every day they get to see the patriarchy turned into string cheese.
And then...
Oh, they were so mad about Orpheus Way. That was over multi-universes.
And then fucking Professor X is having a conversation with Doctor Strange while the rest of the Illuminati is getting fucked up by the Scarlet Witch. Hey, have a little more urgency there, buddy.
In Captain Marvel's defense, earlier in the afternoon, she had found her stapler encased in Jell-O, and she was like, "Fuck you, Krasinski, just die."
Nice.
And so I get Captain Carter's human. She gets taken out fairly easily by, well, not easily. I mean, that was my favorite fight scene. I was like, fuck yeah, I love Captain Carter. I want more Captain Carter. But then
Captain Carter action film.
Captain Marvel
figures half off.
Captain Marvel who can fly through alien spaceships. She's the fucking Superman of the Marvel universe. Gets taken out by a big fucking rock.
Yeah.
Landing on her. I was like, she can survive in the vacuum of space, and that big rock killed her. Doesn't she have like super strength? Didn't track for me.
Didn't track.
Also, great depths of the ocean have no effect on her too. We've seen her at the bottom of the Marianas Trench. If you can survive that, I think a statue's nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
Different
but anyway,
universe, Tom.
I did like the fact
you're
that
right, Tommy.
Mr. Fantastic was wearing the 4, which means that the other members of the Fantastic Four are out there.
Indeed.
So, I mean, it set up a lot of possibilities. I like that Marvel decided, hey, all these properties that we haven't used yet, let's bring them into this. That's cool.
And of course, though, I mean, the elephant in the room is the X-Men are in the universe.
Finally.
That's big. Yeah.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the humans are in the universe too, but I mean, the X-Men. And we saw clear aluminum, so obviously Star Trek.
Obviously.
I'm pretty sure the gummy bears are going to show up at some point.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what they
High
needed.
Adventure Beyond Compare.
That's what they needed for this movie. Because, I mean, if they had sent in the gummy bears, I mean, who's going to fight the gummy bears? Is she going to rip apart gummy bears? I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Next scene. Doctor Strange
escapes.
They escape, but America Chavez does get captured by the Scarlet Witch as they're trying to get the Book of Ashanti, which would have told them how to defeat her, but they don't get the Book of Ashanti. The Book of Ashanti seems to be destroyed. Scarlet Witch now has America Chavez. She's going to kill her so that she absorbs her power so that she can protect her children in every single universe known to man. Doctor Strange does the unthinkable and dreamwalks. Such a hypocrite.
Yeah, essentially, to save this one girl, is willing to destroy several universes by dreamwalking, which he's been told causes incursions, including the one he's fucking in.
Hold on. You guys just glaze over one of the best battle scenes in this movie.
The music battle.
One of the most creative battle scenes I've seen. Certainly one of the best battle scenes I've ever seen in a Sam Raimi film. The musical battle scene between Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange in the Incursion universe.
Yeah, that was good.
Good scene.
Great.
I mean,
scene.
it's
I love that.
Probably
that was my
the only time that
movie.
I've noticed music in a Sam Raimi film. It's been there, but I've never really noticed it.
No, I've always enjoyed Sam Raimi's soundtracks.
And a great way to depict a magical battle.
It's been, typical horror fare. It's done its job, but it's not something that you're like, oh, like a Star Trek soundtrack or like a Darth Vader theme soundtrack. There's nothing that's like hit you in the face, but this musical battle scene was just so intertwining the music that it just really pulled it out and brought attention.
It was really good, but what you're saying is the music was memorable, and it wasn't because I can't hum the tune. Except for the discordant at one point.
And also in the Incursion, when they get into the Incursion planet, that's where you see the Impala.
Yes. Finally, you saw the Impala. Good.
Finally.
For those not in the know, LT is our go-to expert on music and classic cars. And
Sam Raimi puts in the Impala that's from Evil Dead into all his films somewhere. It's like his Easter egg.
Yeah. And we got to see it. It was great.
We got to see it.
All right. So now Doctor Strange has to possess a body if he's going to dreamwalk. And he's the Doctor Strange from the universe he has to go to. So what body can he possibly possess? The corpse. So now we get to see a living, zombified, zombied out Doctor Strange. And you might think that they would do this all with CG, but no. This is a Sam Raimi joint. They do it with makeup because Sam Raimi says you can't act if you can't see the actor's eyes. It's kind of one of his things. And I love Undead Doctor Strange, and the cloak was insane to me. Did
Yeah.
anyone else at least love the cloak?
I love the cloak.
The
It
Undead cloak was so cool.
It was something more out of Spawn than you would expect out of a Marvel film.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Oh, I enjoyed the shit out of that. And so that brings us up to the climactic fight scene at the very end, where Undead Doctor Strange is fighting against the Scarlet Witch, and America Chavez, oh, I got it right that time, thinks that Doctor Strange is about to absorb her powers, and instead he says, nope, you have to do it. It's on you. He gives up any ability that he has to, take her power and to take over and to take control of the situation, do it himself, and he tells her that it's up to her. And she rises to the occasion, much to everyone's chagrin, including the Scarlet Witches. And it is a fun, cool battle.
Yeah, but what does she end up doing?
She shows her the damage that she's doing to her own children in that different universe. She shows her to be the monster that she is.
She brings her to where the Scarlet Witch wanted to go.
Yes.
Yep.
So this is another Indiana Jones. Doctor Strange does nothing to affect anything that happens in this movie other than to destroy several universes because he causes incursions.
So you think that if Wanda had just done the spell, gone to that universe, saw how much she was scaring all the kids, she would have stopped?
Yes.
Maybe.
Because that's what stopped her anyways. It wasn't a pep talk from American Chavez. It was her seeing the kids frightened of her and trying to protect their real mom.
But she kind of thrust her in the middle of the living room in the open. Like if she had snuck in the back door while the girl was sleeping, possessed her and woke up the next morning like, hello, I'm Mom. I'm exaggerating. But, I think she might have gotten away with it. But you might be right.
So out there for anybody that's on YouTube, if tomorrow morning you wake up and there's Tom in your house and he says, "Hi, Mom," you know that he's probably taking out your parents.
Oddly, I've done this 4 times, and everyone's like, not that much worse. What do we have for breakfast? What do you want for breakfast? I'm a pretty
chocolate
good cook.
cake.
Chocolate cake it is. Tommy's great.
It's great.
Give us
chocolate cake. Hey, we should not be using Bill Cosby material.
Hey,
Probably not.
You gotta separate the art from the man sometimes. And that was a good bit. I'm sorry, it was. All right, so that brings us to the end of the movie. America Chavez is victorious. There's a couple of fun Easter eggs at the end. Do we want to give up the Easter eggs? You see Spawn? See Spawn? Spawn's in the universe now. I said Spawn. What the fuck am I saying?
I don't know.
I meant Venom. I'm sorry. We see Eddie Brock in a bar talking about what's going on. So we know he's in the universe, and he leaves a little bit of Venom behind. So we know it's in the broader universe now.
Wait, I didn't see that. Did I miss that?
It's one of the things at the very, very, very end.
Cutscenes.
Oh shit! Wait a minute. Maybe that one was in the Spider-Man one.
That was in the Spider-Man one.
I'm sorry.
And this one, it was Vulture.
It was weird. They had two end scenes that contradicted each other. One is the Sam Raimi cutscene, which is the ending where he's walking down the street and then the third eye pops out and he's being tormented because he's been corrupted by the Book of Vishanti. And then the end scene is he's just strolling along again like everything's fine, thereby negating the other ending. And then Clea comes out and is like, "Hey, dickwad, you caused an incursion. Come fucking help me fix it."
Who is playing? Is that
Stormfront? No, Charlize Theron.
Thank you, Charlize Theron. That's who.
But she played Stormfront in the Return of the Seven movie, right? In The Boys.
In the movie, yeah.
In the movie version, but not as the actress.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the Doctor Strange does have that third eye in continuity in comic books now. So that's not totally out there. Most mystics have the third eye in continuity. If you read Strange Academy, they actually have a class on how to finally open your third eye. So everyone has a third eye. So
you want to explain to our listeners who aren't Strange fans who Clea is?
That's a toughie to explain because there's so Clea is a sorcerer supreme in her own universe. She was trapped in the universe where the mindless ones were, which is part of the universe of what's that big tentacle god with a
Dormammu. She's Dormammu's sister.
Yeah, she's sister. I thought daughter.
I think she's Dormammu's sister.
All right, Dormammu's sister, sorcerer supreme of her own universe, and in a constant battle with Dormammu to keep him, in his own universe. Dormammu wants to take over everything, and Dormammu is one of the big bads of the Doctor Strange universe, and Clea is one of the few love interests of Doctor Strange.
Former wife of Doctor Strange.
Former wife. Depending on what continuity you believe. I don't believe any of them.
So now can we talk about the Scarlet Witch elephant in the room?
Sure.
Is she dead? Is that what you're asking?
So if you're a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan and you have only seen the movies because you don't have Disney Plus, if you go into this movie, you're like, what the fuck is she talking about children?
What's a Darkhold?
What's a Darkhold? It doesn't make any sense. And they could have fixed that with what, like, I don't know, just like a news report in the background where they're talking about how a town was taken over or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it could have been.
Or they're doing the big crossover thing where, fuck you, go buy Power Pack number 4 if you want to know what's going on in the Mutant Massacre.
Which is fine if you last saw Wanda in Endgame and you're like, oh, what the hell is this about? Cool. It doesn't matter because WandaVision shows us that the Marvel Universe's grand plan, they're just pulling the shit out of their ass because the whole story arc for Wanda was to get over the grief and the trauma that she had suffered. And she goes through 8 or 9 hours of her own series in order to get her through the 5 stages of grief. And then she's now the villain. Like, she had that whole arc where you found out, oh, yes, she was the villain. Oh, and now she's going to free the town and give up her children because she knows what she was doing was essentially wrong. And now she's going to do the same thing. This entire plot is the plot of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's no.
It's the same thing as the Kingpin. Like, my kid is dead, or my wife is dead, my family's dead, and I want to get them back. How am I going to get them back? I'm going to find a portal into the multiverse, and then take over the family that I want. And I don't care what kind of destruction I cause. This is the same plot that the Scarlet Witch has, except they do her disservice.
Mike, the teat on that cow was not dry. They had to suck it until it was dry, Mike. They will have this plot in 3 more movies.
Yeah, there was no reason to have Wanda as the bad guy for this movie. They could have fucking had anybody as the bad guy for this movie.
And they will, again, in another movie.
Her goals don't make any sense. Like, can you help me out? She literally created her children out of nothing and tapped into all the brains of all these people to create her own little bubble of reality in this planet that she's already on, and now she decides she wants her children back, she could have just taken over another fucking town and done the same thing. She doesn't have to go through all of these hoops to get to this other universe where the kids exist.
What does she say? What does she say when Doctor Strange says, "They're not real. You just made your children out of magic"? She's Tommy.
Aren't all children made out of magic? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. She goes,
So
"Isn't
don't
that
all
what every
moms make
mother?
them out of magic?
Isn't that how all mothers make children out of magic?" She's
Right.
delusional. She's absolutely delusional, and that's the way they wrote the character, and that's the way they brought the character forward from WandaVision. I thought at the end of WandaVision she had turned the corner and she was all right. But if you watch all of WandaVision, you can see that at the very end of WandaVision, she's scouring the Darkhold, trying to find a way to get to a universe where her children are.
Look, Mike,
Right.
her character's
But there was no
growing.
point then for WandaVision other than to say, okay, she has a Darkhold now.
Well, we're looking forward to Young Avengers, where we see Wiccan and give me the other kid's name, Tommy.
Hulkling?
Hulkling.
No,
No.
Hulkling.
No,
No,
not
Hulkling's the
Hulkling.
boyfriend. I don't know.
Wiccan and
Speedy.
Speedster.
Speedster, fine, whatever. Gold, I don't know.
Speed Freak.
Might be Speed Freak.
No.
But that's what it was for, because we have to have the Young Avengers.
Yeah,
It's tenuous at best.
Well,
I'm
my only
with
thought
you.
was that's only the WandaVision storyline is only the Wanda from that multiverse, right? We don't know that that's the Wanda they're talking to is the Wanda from that multiverse, right?
yeah, it's the same. Like this is
It's
the
a
same
different.
MCU.
If it's a different universe, obviously, because Doctor Strange is not the Sorcerer Supreme. Wong is.
I don't follow you on that one, but
Yeah.
we do know that Doctor Strange knows what happens in the town, because the first question Wanda asks is, "You're here to talk about the town," and he goes, "I don't care about the town." So it's
that's
the
true.
same universe.
So I think this is just proving that Wanda is growing as a person. She learned that taking over a town is bad, so she's not going to do that again. Instead, she's just going to take over a household. And that household just happens to be in a different universe. That's the way she is growing.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I'm
just say
not
this.
saying it's
Marvel
I'm not saying
doesn't
it's
have
correct.
a lot of female heroes left.
I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying that in her deluded mind, to her, this is like the better option, right? Because she got caught with the town. She realized the town was wrong. So now, instead, she's just taking over, the other version of herself. And that's less wrong.
The only thing I can see there is that the kids in the other universes weren't created with magic.
Yeah.
They are actual children, right?
Right. They're obviously children of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. That's why they both have the two separate sets of powers.
Wait, what? That's gross.
That's gross.
Hey, I didn't make the rules of the multiverse.
No, wait, no.
else-
Maybe they are. Jesus Christ. Who knows? God damn it. God damn it. The way to gross me out. And now there's a whole new category in my Pornhub thing I got to look up later on tonight. And I'm sure it's there. All right, let's go for last words on Multitude of Madness.
It's 3 to 18 it.
No, because I'm going to get 3 to 18 later. But I love all right, we'll 3 to 18 both. I love this movie. I'm going to give it a solid 16. I really enjoyed this movie. Josh?
I'll give it a 12. It had some entertaining moments. I liked the introduction of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. But like Mike said, I don't think the movie as a whole made a lot of sense, even when you tried to math it through multiversal logic.
Okay. Tommy?
I'm going to give this a 14. It's a good, solid movie. It's worth watching. But, it's not going to be the first thing that you go to after you've watched it once.
I agree with you on that. Mikey?
I'm going to give this a solid 10.
One better than I thought. I thought you'd give it the right down the middle 9.
Well, 9 would be a -1 modifier.
Okay, that's true. All right. So some of us loved it, most of us didn't like it. We can all agree that it was a good Sam Raimi movie, if nothing else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I liked it. Mikey, what do you at the front of the long box?
I got nothing at the front of the long box.
Great. Tommy, what do you at the back of the long box?
I have My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies
Ooh.
by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is a I don't know if you call it kind of a slice of life type comic or coming of age type comic or rehab comic. I don't know how you'd want to classify it, but it's a story of a woman who's named Ellie in rehab, and she meets up with a guy in rehab, and she's kind of like, I'm not so sure if I'm into him. I'm not so sure if he's into me. They sneak off and have some cigarettes and start talking, and they kind of start a relationship and get caught and still have this relationship, even though they're about to get kicked out of rehab because Ellie finds some pot vape and convinces him to do it, and they run away and go on a spree of drugging, just an absolute spree of stealing cars and going in, stealing drugs out of pharmacies, and just having a good old binge of a time. Having not a care in the world, but being in love with themselves and doing drugs and staying in whatever place they can break into that they don't think people are going to be in for a few days, and then moving on to the next place until eventually it comes to for a time to be an end. And I won't give away the trick ending, but yeah, it's a good Ed Brubaker film book, and it's a little bit of a downer because, well, any book that kind of glorifies drugs a little bit, which this does, is a little bit, because it kind of goes into how Ellie is she's in rehab, but she is definitely not into pro quitting. She is definitely still in the phase of glorifying all the drugs and how they make her feel, what they've done to all the artists that she's liked, and how all the artists that she's liked have produced their best work when they've been on drugs. And she definitely is sort of glorifying what drugs do to people. Meanwhile, the person that she's kind of seducing and bringing with her seems to genuinely have tried to get away from being on drugs, and yet she's brought him back into that life. But it's a very good book. So, Mike, you have more comments about it, since you seem to
No, that's one
about
of
the
the
book.
few Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips comics I haven't read. But anybody who's been listening to this podcast for a while knows I think that is the best writer-artist team in comics. They just do their own stuff, and all their stuff is phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I was happy to hear that you read it. Did you recommend it for me?
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Okay.
Like I said, the only bad thing I think I have about it is that, in a way, it kind of glorifies drugs in some little respect, in that
Well, it only glorifies drugs if there's a happy ending.
there's not really a happy ending, but there's a lot of sort of
Yeah, but
advertisement for drugs.
yeah, but the drugs are what I would assume is going to cause the problems that
Yeah.
happen. Yeah, so
Yes, but
it's a cautionary tale rather than a glorification of it. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read it.
Well,
I don't know.
she is talking about how some artists do thrive on drugs.
Right. It one of the things that the main one of the main characters, is kind of obsessing about, is that all of these great artists have done their best work while they've been on drugs, and then when they either stop doing drugs or are not under the influence, their art has never been quite the same. So that is one of the things that she keeps bringing up. That, and the fact that every time she describes doing drugs, it seems like a little bit of a glorification.
Yeah, she's a junkie. It makes sense.
Yes.
Total sense to me.
All right, cool.
Not at all tangential. That's good though, because tangents are Josh's purview. Josh, you got a tangent for us?
Okay, so we're on the multiverse kick today, so I'm gonna keep going with that a little bit. So a while back, I had this very memorable dream, and in the dream, I invent a machine that can actually transport you to another dimension. But I understand that it's a one-use, one-shot thing. I'm gonna go through. I'm probably not gonna be able to get back, and I don't know if I can reinvent the machine again. But I know I'm going to another multiverse. So for the sake of science, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna try. I'm just gonna go. I know I'm never gonna be able to report back, so I go through. The machine is gone. I feel like I'm in the same place, and I just keep going on living my life. It feels like nothing has changed. And then one day, about a year later, I'm driving down the road and I see a Honda Ridgeline, and it's just a different design. That's the only thing I can tell about the other dimension. They redesigned the Honda Ridgeline. That's it. It's the only thing I get. So in my in a not disappointing otherworldly dimension, if you were to step through a portal and 99.9% of everything was exactly the same, but you could just change one small detail about it, what are you changing? Nothing major. Has to be pretty minor. It can impact you personally, but nothing like you're not solving world hunger here.
Oreos would be sold stale. I love stale Oreos. I have 2 different packs of Oreos right now open, and I won't touch them for another week. Stale Oreos are way better.
Just buy Hydrox then.
No, Hydrox suck. They don't taste stale. They taste weirdly. When you bite into a stale Oreo, there's no crunch whatsoever. You just sink into it like a pillow.
But why not give people the option?
People have the option. They can do
People
it.
have the option. I want to take it away from them. Fuck them. I want everyone to know the joy I know.
But you could just be like,
fuck off. It's my universe. Do your own universe. Don't correct my universe as fuck. Make your own.
Could I fix? Is this too major if I just change the grammar in the Second Amendment?
Because
I mean, it's a minor change.
It's a minor change.
You want everyone to have bare arms. I'm right with you, Mike. I want everyone to have bare arms. Everybody can grab a bear's arms and use that. I am with you.
I'm okay with that too.
Because that's what I've always wanted.
I mean, if everyone gets bare arms, that means there's a lot of bare farms.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And if that's too major a change, then I'm going to go with in the Multiverse of Madness, they choose a different villain other than the Scarlet Witch.
Okay. So, Mike, was that not your change? Because I wanted bear's arms.
You can have that.
Okay.
You're a pretty hairy dude anyways. I'm pretty sure you've almost got those bare arms.
Pretty close.
How about you, Josh? What minor thing besides the ridge line?
For me personally, it would be that my feet are actually the same size, so when I buy shoes, they don't feel weird.
Nice. I also would like it if my my Ford Bronco, the seats actually folded the fuck flat instead of slightly up the way they are, because it's driving me crazy, and I'm thinking of taking the back seats just completely the fuck out. Because they don't fold flat. Makes me nuts.
Okay.
And you can't move them back far enough?
No, you'd have to see it, Tommy. I'm actually going to take them out, so you're my car guy. Maybe you'll come over and help me take them out.
Because... Yeah, or maybe you can figure out some way to fix it so that you could move them back further so you don't have to take them out.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay.
I wish it did. You'd have to see them. Take a look at them online. It's a weird design. It's not good. Okay. That's the one weird design on this thing. And by the way, that actually plays into my 3 to 18 that I wanted to ask you guys today. This is something we have never done together, to my knowledge, but I think we've all done separately. Tailgating, 3 to 18. Like, we've never tailgated together, have we? Not together.
You know, I don't do a lot of tailgating. The only tailgating I've ever really done is at a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was all right.
I've done it at a couple of sporting events when I was in San Francisco, and I've done it at a couple of sporting, and I didn't tailgate, but we went to the one of the Raiders game in Oakland. I went to the tailgate parties out there, and they were riotous and fun and hilarious. So I enjoyed them, but I didn't have my own truck or anything.
I was gonna say the people I went with got really, really, really drunk, and I had to end up driving home because they were really drunk. And and the guy's car was handling a little weird, and I told him about it. I was like, "You need to get your car checked out. It's handling a little weird." And he did not take the criticism well. It was like, nothing wrong with my car. And then like 3 days later, he's like, "Oh yeah, there was something wrong with my car. The tires were underinflated." I was like, "Yeah, because it was all over the fucking road." But yeah.
Okay, I don't know why you had to whisper that, but that's cool. I'm gonna go with.
It's not like cancer, It's underinflated tires, man.
Yeah.
So, God damn it, I think I'm gonna go with 16. Like, I love a good tailgate. Like, the food is always great. Everybody's happy.
I don't remember you ever doing it. I know you've done it. I'm not accusing you of not doing it.
New Orleans. So New Orleans would probably be great.
That's got to be good food. That's got to be good food.
Yeah, the food's always good. Everybody's always in a jovial mood before the game. Like, there's
before the Saints game, yes.
After, no. But before the Saints game, everybody's in a good mood. And that one episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where they go to the Eagles game to tailgate, is fucking hilarious. So
I'll watch that. Josh, have you done much tailgating?
Not a lot. I mean, my big sports team is the Celtics, and it's in the city, so you don't tailgate for it. So, no, I mean, I don't mind drinking beer in a parking lot, but I also don't mind drinking beer at home. So it's never been a big draw for me because none of the teams I would really support. I don't know. I'll give it it seems nice. I'll give it a 14.
Oh my God, I just realized I was training for tailgating in high school.
Yeah.
We've been training for this our whole lives, guys. Just some of us skipped it. Tommy, what was your number again?
I guess I'd give it a 12. It was okay.
I'll give it a nice solid 15. I enjoy it, especially when I'm invited. Like, I did it a couple times in Tennessee. Now, Tennessee tailgating, it was for the college, and it starts at 6 in the morning. And, I got paid for half the day to work the tailgate because that's how much we brought out to the thing. And like, you're off, Tommy, have some barbecue. And then we ate barbecue for the rest of the day. It was terrific. And had a hell of a good time. We had like 9 kegs in a separate kegerator van. And we were not the only ones that had that out there. We were not. And it was a lot of fun. If you do it right, it is hilarious and fun. I'm going to give it a nice solid 16. All right, moving on.
Yeah. Moving on.
I guess that's plugs. Josh, you got a bunch of stuff coming up.
Yeah, well, Josh, tell us all about the stuff you got coming up. But first, let's thank Kirby Crackle for providing our geek rock music every week. You can check them out at KirbyCrackleMusic.com. And if you're wondering, what music are you talking about because you're watching our YouTube channel, we have a podcast that does the exact same thing, except I add music to it. Magic.
Whoa.
Magic. Just like kids. It's magic.
It's magic. Just like babies.
It's where music comes from. This week, of course, I'll be performing my sister's wedding. Feel free to stop by and crash it. Any of our listeners, just text Lucky Bastard at the Longbox guys, and I'll send you the address. It's cool. It's a cookout. Everything's free. Just come on by. And then after that, it's Gen Con, August 4th to the 7th, and then Nerd Camp, August 18th to the 22nd. On the 4th.
You're going to be busy in August.
Yeah, from our perspective, it looked like you looked deep into Doctor Strange's eyes to see what was happening next.
He was looking 2 universes away.
That's right, the multiverse of schedules.
The Eye of Agamotto is actually his Outlook calendar.
Yeah, that's all it's ever been, really. I mean, it was just ahead of its time. Boop, boop. Did you want to change universes? Damn it, Paperclippy! Oh, I hate that thing. Tommy, anything to plug?
I'd like to plug GeekOrthodox.com.
GeekOrthodox.com.
IanandLeonardo.com.
Hello, Tammy.
That's right, GeekOrthodox.com, the place to get all your stained glass prints and Johnny Skywalker rocks glasses and your sake sets. If you want t-shirts, you got to go over to IanLeno.com to get your t-shirts. But yeah, they've got everything you need in IanLeno.com and GeekOrthodox.com.
I'd like to plug our Patreon page. You can hear another podcast every single week called The Geek Leak. All the money that we collect from that, which is only $1 a week.
$1 a month.
$1 a month. $1 a month. Are you kidding?
It's a bargain.
Less than a hand job from LT.
That's $5 same as downtown.
Not by much. And all the money does go to the Elizabeth Peabody House, and they provide over 100 bags of food every single week to families in the Somerville, Massachusetts area, and they do terrific work over there. And I highly recommend it. And also our Twitter page. Go to Longbox Guys on Twitter. We always have something to say, and we plug up that Patreon page. And sometimes we talk about other things too.
And I'd like to plug Great Stories, comic book store in Whitensville, Massachusetts.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's my new comic book store. I don't know what I'm going to be getting from them, but it's my new comic book store.
My favorite part of that whole transaction was he buys a gift certificate or store credit, just store credit.
Store credit.
A gift certificate.
Just store credit
whatever.
so that Josh can pick up his comic books for him. That was terrific. Because Josh lives right up the street. And it is a great comic book store. They found out that I needed some energy cards for my after-school program at the Elizabeth Peabody House because they wanted to start a Pokemon club. And they were nice enough to get Josh a ton of those cards for me. And now the kids play Pokemon regularly. Let's just say that. They are a little addicted and having a great time playing it. I'm trying to get them over to Magic. They're old enough. Gosh darn it. I don't want them playing Pokemon. Let's get them on Magic so I can play with them.
Sounds
I guess
expensive.
that's it. Josh, is it expensive?
No, God.
No, it is not. Josh, Gen Con, come right up. Is that your sector?
Indianapolis, Indiana. I will be in you, and you will be my sector.
All right. Tommy. Sweet Tommy. Anything to say?
Another month I'll be getting my second shingle shot. If you got a shot to get it.
That shingle shot, that second one sucks. I got it. It's worth it. I don't have shingles. I'm glad I did it. That one was not one of my faves. Mikey, what's this podcast like to you?
It's like Drunk History, but for comics.
And don't forget what I always say. Don't diss what you hate. Just promote what you love. You're going to live longer. Thank you so much from the Longbox Guys.
Love you. Bye-bye.